Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jim Bezzetta. I'm one of the privileged co-chairmans of this GRCC capital campaign, A Broader Vision. Thank you for being here today. If you live in Grand Rapids and have had 2 months of constant rain, to have this kind of a morning, you know that something's special this morning, and we've got it for you today. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize some of our friends and supporters in attendance this morning, and would the following individuals please stand and be recognized. First, anyone who is a GRCC Board of Trustees, would you please stand and be acknowledged? And for those who serve on the GRCC Foundation Board of Directors, could you please stand and be acknowledged? Thank you. Thank you. If there's any elected officials in the audience that have joined us today, could you please stand? All right. Thank you for your attendance. For those of you that are here, I'm sure they're working and doing something important. We appreciate everything that you've done for us, those of you that participate on those boards and foundations. And before I get into the script, I just wanted to make a quick comment. This is my third capital campaign that I've been involved in at GRCC, and I've been honored and privileged to be part of all of them. I've chaired a couple of them, and you just don't do it without a team. And I have to say, personally, it's been wonderful working with Deb Bailey and Larry Murphy, outstanding individuals. Deb works very hard. Larry shows up once in a while. Not true. He's actually the chair of the foundation. It all starts also with leadership, and we've had a long history of great presidents at this institution, and it hasn't changed when we have Dr. Bill Pink, and Bill, with his leadership, has done a great job. And there's also leadership at the foundation level with Dr. Kathy Mullins and her team, who have done an outstanding job, and I want to thank them. And also we have a great consultant that has helped us, Keith Hopkins. And so thank you to all of you. Now I'm back on script, Kathy, so you can breathe easily. GRCC is our region's most affordable higher education option. Last year, nearly 30,000 traditional and non-traditional students attended GRCC, 30,000. We are proud of our service to the community. Our classes and educational offerings help young adults start their path to a 4-year degree. They also help a single parents who are juggling many responsibilities, finding a way to fit their education into their schedules. For employees who want to upgrade their skill set, we're here to help. Essentially, we serve everyone and anyone who seeks an education or a workforce skill, and we do it with exceptional quality and affordable tuition. We're gathered here today to tell you about an exciting campaign that GRCC initiated last year. But before we do that, we have a short video that we'd like to show you that includes stories of how GRCC has transformed lives.
I graduated from Cedar Springs High School. I have received a scholarship that has helped me become a future elementary teacher. I think that GRCC is an absolutely amazing college. There are some parts that are a little bit older. They're a little bit more dated than the high school that I went to. There could be some things around GRCC that could be just upgraded. Scholarships are absolutely essential for people like me who don't have all the financial resources that others may have. I would love to be able to give back, not only to the community, but when I'm able to, give back to GRCC to be able to say thank you for all of these years that GRCC has helped me academically and financially.
GRCC has been part of my life for the last 4 or 5 years. I was able to come over here and get my more advanced English classes. Then I started working towards my associate's degree in tooling and manufacturing technologies. When I look at myself now, after I attended GRCC with a decent job, I'm so thankful for everything that I've had. In fact, the day before yesterday, I passed my citizenship test. Here am I now, shooting this video at GRCC, being a US citizen, and just keep working, support my family, support the economy, support the city, support the industry, and it feels really good, to be honest with you.
I started back in August of 2016. When I decided to come back, I looked at a couple different universities where I wanted to go, and when I discovered that I could get almost an entire degree for the same amount of money as 1 or 2 classes at another college or university, I decided CC was the place to go. And I started in on a network administration degree, and within a year I graduated. Very, very important to keep the equipment up to date, because when you go out and find a job, you're going to need to know the latest and greatest equipment. And the company that I worked for was just amazed by the experience that I had gotten in my labs. I felt like I was staying one step ahead of what they needed by having my classes here at CC. So getting a degree as an adult, it's not the easiest thing, but it definitely was easier because I came here.
Hi, my name is Terry Rostick, and I'm a student at Grand Rapids Community College, and I'm studying to be an FBI agent.
So I was a younger kid back then, 17 years ago. I don't think I had a sense of appreciation for GRCC like I do now. I didn't realize how much that GRCC was going to change my life and my future. I tell everybody my master's degree started at GRCC. I was able to really find out what I wanted to do, found my passion and my niche, which was really nice. So today I work for Rockford Construction. So I'm a project manager in the Human Resources Department. What I would tell anybody who's considering about supporting GRCC is just look around at the impact. You could go to any company in this area and you will find a GRCC graduate or someone who attended. You're helping out someone you don't know yet, and you're providing that opportunity and that chance to have affordable education and an opportunity to thrive, and out of that, great things can happen. They took me when no one else would. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that opportunity, that chance they gave me.
So as you can see, GRCC has been a pivotal part of the individuals that you just met. But we have to do more, because as this economy continues to increase and continues to grow, GRCC has to broaden its capacity. We have to update facilities. We have to get more in terms of scholarships for our students. And that is why we are embarking upon this Broader Vision campaign.
That is exactly why I give. There is no greater joy than to help others. And this is a great a way to do it. This campaign has all the right reasons to give. This institution does. And it's, as you can see, GRCC has a special place in our community. Of all the higher education institutions, there's nothing that fills the void like GRCC does. So with that, to hear more about it, I'd like to turn it over to my campaign chair and good friend, Deb Bailey. Deb.
I think he was going to say co-conspirator. Didn't it sound like that was going to come out? He was stumbling there for a minute. That Terry's film really resonates with me because I'm an alum of GRCC, and they took me when no one else would take me too. So I always say it's a good thing running for the GRCC trustees. They didn't check grade points. So I'm delighted to be here. As Jim mentioned, GRCC is really an exceptional community asset. It's been part of this community for over 105 years. And each year, we serve over 30,000 students in both the credit and non-credit programs. And 98% of all GRCC graduates never leave our community. They stay here, they work for our companies, they teach in our schools, and they send their kids to GRCC. We currently have over 100,000 GRCC alumni in this community. So raise your hand if you're one of those proud alumni. Okay, good. We've got that proportion right. Thank you. So we know that our classes are effective. We see it every day in our students as they chart a course to their future hopes and dreams. I do have to smile. Terry was on the Capital Campaign Cabinet, and I didn't realize he started out as an FBI agent and now in project management. We all change our dreams along the way. While we have a really impressive track record, we still have a lot more to do. College is becoming less and less affordable for many, and it's no secret. We hear it every day on the news. At the same time, we know that we compete with other communities and states. We must have exceptional educational institutions. Several of our buildings are old and outdated. As I was sitting here reflecting 50 years ago, I was walking up those stairs in that admin building, and I thought they were really old back then. So you'll see them carved out as you walk. So our main instructional building has been currently renamed the Raleigh Finkelstein Hall, which was originally built in the 1920s. And if you take a tour, you'll see that it remains in the 1920s. It's really unacceptable in 2019, as we saw with that recent student who mentioned that it's way, way less than her current high school facilities. And students look at that. They look at the labs, they look at the learning environments, and they make judgments about quality. We need to make sure that their judgments live up to the quality we know that they're going to have here. Our Wisner Bottrell Applied Technology Center, funded in part by the Wisner Bottrell families, has been an incredible asset for our regional's workforce. It too needs renovation and expansion to meet the changing and increased needs for workforce training programs. Finally, we need more funding for student scholarships. Last year, we provided well over $1 million to students with scholarships. Unfortunately, that just wasn't enough, and we had to turn many away. We need to do more to ensure that a college education stays affordable for everyone, and not just families that have significant means. Because of these needs, the Grand Rapids Community College Foundation Board of Directors set out to raise $37 million to meet these objectives. At the onset of our campaign, we recruited some of our strongest supporters to help us raise the funds. And thankfully, many stepped forward to help lead the way on this entirely volunteer effort. I'd like to recognize any campaign volunteers that are here. Could you please either stand or raise your hand to get our signal of appreciation? Well, and they just think their job's done. There's still more to do. That's why we're here today. So I'd also like to recognize 3 additional outstanding leaders who have helped lead this campaign. Co-chair Larry Murphy, who did more than just show up, Larry, President Bill Pink, and Vice President Kathy Mullins. I'd now like to ask Larry and Kathy to tell you more about our campaign and our success to date.
Thank you, Deb. Well, at least I did show up this morning. But before the comments, in contrast to the individuals, both Jim and Deb, that you've heard, I had nothing to do with GRCC when I moved to Grand Rapids 11 years ago. And since then, I've become immersed in this community college because I came to learn, like many of us have come to learn, that GRCC is absolutely essential to the future of the Grand Rapids or the Southwest Michigan region. And it is with great pride that I associate myself with all these people here because of what Jim and what Deb have set up to this point. Well, as Deb mentioned, we've gathered for some exciting news for GRCC this morning. The Foundation Board initiated a major fundraising effort to help GRCC more effectively serve the community. We began this effort when the Foundation Board contributed $6 million to the campaign. And with diligent work, we are pleased to announce today that we have raised $34 million toward the $37 million goal. And we want to thank all of our donors to date. And as Deb said, we're not done yet. And including our entire cabinet, campaign cabinet, along with Keith Hopkins, as Jim mentioned. So let this effort begin on our public aspect of the campaign. Kathy?
So on the screen behind us, you'll see the list of donors to date. Please help us thank them for their support because they were awesome. We could not have accomplished this important task without the generosity of many. While we have made outstanding progress so far, this is just the beginning. We still have $3 more million to go. So today we invite others in our community to join us that share in our mission in completing this worthwhile effort. I'd now like to introduce a donor, a huge GRCC supporter, and the newest member of the GRCC family, Mr. Raleigh Finkelstein.
Good morning. Thank you, Kathy, for that kind introduction. It was one of the most meaningful days of my life when I saw the 29 letters of my name on top of the Grand Rapids Community College main academic building. I didn't expect to be so completely embraced as part of the GRCC family. In giving to the college, I feel that I am the one that has received a gift. I am grateful for the opportunity to help make the renovation of this building happen, and my only regret is that I didn't get involved with GRCC sooner. My passion for education is one of my highest priorities. I want to thank the many other donors who have helped make this project a reality. It is through attainment of an associate degree from GRCC that students are able to immediately go out in the community and find work. Or students can transfer seamlessly to our top quality four-year universities to continue their educational journey. GRCC is a pillar of hope and innovation in our community, and I'm honored to have its main academic building named the Raleigh J. Finkelstein Hall. I urge everyone in our community to join me in support of GRCC, a Broader Vision campaign. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of Grand Rapids Community College, Dr. Bill Pink.
Good morning. Go ahead a minute. Good morning. You know I'm going to say it because I got to make sure. It's a great day out here, isn't it? Guys, if you've been standing in rain the last several weeks and you've had to go from your house to your car with an umbrella or with a, as I often do, with a notebook over your head because I can't mess up my hair, then you are thankful for a beautiful day like today. And I don't believe that beautiful days are to be taken for granted. They are to be recognized, cherished, but also a beautiful day like today where we get to not only celebrate, but we get to make fun and cool announcements like you've heard today. I would be remiss. I am not dumb enough to think that anything that has been accomplished in this $34 million being raised, I'm not dumb enough to think that that has everything to do with me. I know that my predecessors, the two that I call out so often, Dr. Steve Ender and Dr. Juan Olivares, I am blessed enough to stand on those shoulders and to reap the benefits of two great leaders who've done so much work, not only in this community, but also so much work for this institution. When you talk about a capital campaign that has seen so much success thus far, it has a lot to do with the people that are sitting in this area right now, but it has a whole lot to do with leadership. And so I want you to help me thank two great leaders of this fine institution, Dr. Steve Ender and Dr. Juan Olivares. Well, this is an incredible statement. It's a statement from a community. First of all, a statement from those of you who have volunteered your time and efforts in trying to stand up such a successful capital campaign. As has been said already, those who are not only in this space today, but those who are not here with us today, who have volunteered many of their time and hours and effort in connecting and communicating with people, in helping them understand what this vision truly is. I'm grateful to each and every one of you who volunteer your time, not only in this capital campaign, but that you give so many hours to this institution and to the success of this institution, whether you be a board member, a board of trustees, our foundation board, or the best faculty and staff of any community college in this country. I am grateful to each and every one of you for the time that you give to our institution, because the time you give to this institution is truly the time you are giving to our students, because that is why we're here. That's why this institution exists. That's why we have anything that we do is because of our students. And it's because of the impact that our students make in West Michigan. And not only in West Michigan, but in the state of Michigan and around the country and around the world. And so I'm grateful to all of you who give that time and effort to this institution. I also would, I'd also be remiss without reminding myself and you of something I've mentioned several times in the times that I've been able to speak. It goes back about three and a half years ago, some of my first days at GRCC. And I remember sitting in this meeting, and I remember Larry Murphy standing up. And as we were actually, it was a strategic planning meeting, strategic planning of our foundation here at GRCC. And I remember Larry Murphy and his words, and they have always stuck with me. And to me, they've been not only an encouragement, they've also been a challenge to me. I've taken it as a challenge. Because what Larry said that day is he said, the thing about Grand Rapids Community College is that without GRCC, our community would be compromised. Now think about that for a second. Without an institution, without a community college, without the community's college, without this institution doing the work that it does in West Michigan, this community of West Michigan would be compromised. That there would be people and there would be programs and there would be things in this community that would be left void. That there would be gaps that would need to be filled somehow or some way. And as I look at you today, you are some of those gap fillers. Raleigh, I'm appreciative to you. I thank you for what you are doing for this institution in a way that no individual in one gift has ever done before. I'm grateful for that. You're a gap filler for us. I'm thankful for our board of trustees and our foundation board for how you guys volunteer your work. You don't get a big paycheck for that job. But you are gap fillers for us. You are those who are standing in the gap. And it's not just for individuals in terms of this whole community. You are gap fillers in terms of our students. And that's what we mean by a community being compromised. I get that now, Larry. I understand that much better today than I ever have before. Part of that compromise that Larry talked about that day really resides in solving from a standpoint of what we are seeing today in this capital campaign public launch. Because as I think about $34 million that has been raised over several years, what that reminds me of and what that says to me is that this community is responding. That's a community statement. I can do all the speaking and preaching and sermons that you want to hear, but a community's response in 34 million ways says that this community realizes what Larry Murphy said that day, that without the community coming alongside its college, that our community would then be compromised. And our community will not be all it can be without this institution and the work that it is able to do. And so when we talk about this capital campaign, and we talk about what a public launch means, what it means is that at this point, while there have been many people who have given big numbers, given a lot of money, given a lot of time, we still have a little gap to still fill. Because we know that we have two buildings, as you saw, two buildings that we are working on. Two buildings that, in one case, needs to be brought up to a standard, as I say, that a high school student walking into this building, I want them to walk into a building that is at or rivals what they just left in their high school. It doesn't do that right now. That's where we need to get to in that building. Where we need to get to in our Applied Technology Center is not only renovation, but addition that will continue to add more and more training and technology to a building that is already state-of-the-art. It needs to be brought up even to a higher standard. And then to say that we need to raise money so that our students those who are needing in terms of finishing out their education but don't quite have enough money in the pocket, that we can provide those scholarship dollars that will help them complete, that will help them finish, that will help get them to their next. That's what the gap is all about that we have to fill. I encourage you to invite as many people as possible to come alongside this journey, because this is a fun journey. This is one of those that you want to be a part of. And this is one of those you need to tell your friends they need to be a part of. Because when they're able to say that they were a part of that capital campaign that Grand Rapids Community College had, and they raised over $37 million, they want to be a part of that, because this is a big deal in our community. Because it is going to raise buildings, it's going to raise people to standards that they haven't been before. You want to be a part of that. I'm thrilled to be a part of that. And I encourage you to encourage as many people as possible that they want to come alongside in this journey, because this journey will happen. I keep telling Kathy, and I thank her and her staff all the time, I keep telling her this $37 million, when we have this last $15 million that we were working on, we've gotten 12. I keep telling her, hey, forget 15, we're going to 20. Now that gives her the heebie-jeebies. But I think it's the statement that this community makes in terms of how this community comes alongside this college. And I encourage you, and I encourage anyone you know to come alongside us in this journey, because it's an exciting journey. I'll leave you with this. This past weekend, we were up seeing family because it was Mother's Day, and we went up. My wife's family lives in Remus, about an hour, almost an hour and a half north of Grand Rapids. And as we were up there this weekend, it was Sunday evening, on our way home, we stopped at a restaurant in Lakeview. If you know where Lakeview is, it's about an hour from here. We stopped in Lakeview to eat dinner on our way home. And the waitress, and this is Lakeview, this is an hour away from here. The waitress who was waiting on us, she was doing an awesome job, and I am always nosy. Usually I'm not as nosy when I'm leaving Kent County. Usually I'm not this nosy outside of Kent, but Kent County, I always ask a waiter or waitress, hey, so what school do you go to? I'm always asking that question. And so in this regard, I asked her that she was just, she did such a good job with us. She was very friendly. And I said, so what are you doing? What school are you going to? She said, well, I go to MCC, Montcalm Community College. I said, great. She said, but after I get a few more classes there, I'm going to go to Grcc. You should never give a president that kind of opening, Raleigh. And so I said, really? And then my wife, Lori, if you know Lori, you know she just then starts going into her purse because she has some of my business cards, because I didn't have any on me because I was just in some my work clothes. And so she knew where I was going, so she starts going into her purse. I said, really? What are you going to do there? She said, I'm going to get into the dental hygienist program there. And she was excited as all get out. Her countenance lifted when she started talking about it, because she started thinking about what her next was going to be. And she knew where that next was going to happen. She was looking forward, and I said, you know what? Here, take this card. Whenever you hit campus, whenever you're getting ready to come, here's an email address on there. It's my email address. Email me and let me know you're coming. I'd love to sit and talk to you, find out what's going on with you. It's always fun to see the reaction when they get the card. But what was interesting is how she was then wanted to talk more about what she wanted to do, what this dental hygienist program would do for her. And it was a great reminder to me of what the reach is of this institution. Don't ever take it for granted that you believe that the students who come to this great institution only exist within a 20, 50-mile radius of this campus. They go far beyond that, friends, because of the impact this school makes. People not only know about it, but people far away from here understand the value of a GRCC education. And what this campaign will do is that it will give more people that opportunity to make that pathway to this institution, to finish at this institution, and then get on to their next. Thank you so much for what part you are playing in this regard, and the part that you will continue to play in helping people understand who the best community college in this country truly is, because you're sitting right here on the campus. Thank you for being here today. God bless you all. You are dismissed.